Charlie, I've listened to you, now it's your turn to listen to me. If you eat a soggy sausage sideways, I guarantee you will spend the rest of the week in pain on the toilet. Charlie, I'm gonna have to call you back. Susan Sausage freely selects a playing card from the deck. She then takes a Sharpie and carefully writes her name upon the face of her selected playing card. The magician then takes the selected playing card and loses it inside the deck of cards. After shuffling the deck, the magician then places the two red aces into the middle of the deck. The magician then executes a flourish and plucks the aces out of the air. A single playing card is seen to have been trapped between the two red aces. That playing card is revealed to be none other than Susan Sausage's freely selected and signed 9 of clubs. Everything is then handed out for inspection, and Susan Sausage is invited to react accordingly. Did you see that, Charlie? I am Daniel Madison and this is Malice. I am Daniel Madison, welcome back. Thanks for being here. Charlie Madison and I both really appreciate it. It just keeps getting better and better. This one is a dope. This one's a dope video. This is Malice. I really need to stop doing that. This is Malice. This continues the sandwich season, the season of the sandwich ideas. And I realized whilst making this, a few of the things that I've been offering recently are more revelations of sandwich ideas than sandwich ideas themselves. And I believe that this is one of those two. It's kind of on that thin line between an actual trick or an actual reveal. I realized that the most important part of the sandwich effect is the reveal and not necessarily the trick itself. But in this trick, I have to teach you specifically how to get that selection between the red aces so you can catch it, so you can reveal it specifically. So this is more about the revelation than the trick itself. This one's beautiful. It's pretty and it's not as hard as it looks a lot more challenging than it actually is. But if you do the flourish correctly, if you do the cardistry move that I'm going to teach you in this video, if you do that correctly, then you can't go wrong. The only way you could go wrong in this is if you drop the playing cards. Don't worry, you're going to drop a lot of playing cards whilst practicing, but you're going to practice enough. I'm going to teach you everything I know about this. You're going to practice enough so that you get to a point where you're never going to drop the playing cards. You're always going to catch those aces, and the signed selection will always be between that. Obviously, Malice works as a flourish on its own, as a standalone flourish, so you don't even have to do the sandwich effect. You can just do the move. I use the move itself, the core flourish itself, in quite a few different things, including Twisted Rain, and I use it quite a lot in my demonstration, so it feels good to teach this one. I wanted to teach Twisted Rain for some time, but I didn't want to give Malice away too soon. So because we're learning Malice in this video, maybe I'll teach Twisted Rain somewhere along the line. I don't want to waste any more of your time with this introduction. There's a lot to cover. Get yourself a deck of playing cards and let's learn Malice. I've got a very strange relationship with my phone. I got rid of my phone. I didn't get rid of my phone, it's right here in my pocket, but I did get rid of my phone. Madison, what are you talking about? I often check the time, right? Everybody does. I don't wear a watch. I don't usually wear a watch. I've got a watch on. I don't usually wear a watch. I take my phone out of my pocket to see what time it is. Now that my phone's in my hand, I check my emails, and as soon as I do that, I get distracted, I get pulled away from what I'm doing. So many people to keep in touch with, so many conversations to stay on top of, so many people to try and impress. What? That I end up completely distracted. And then I think, while I'm here, let's just quickly check Instagram to see if David Blaine's put that picture of him and I sharing a sausage. Oh, he's not put it up yet. I'll check again in 2 minutes. So that's been going on for years. So I found that if I can cut that back to the point where I just look what time it is and put my phone back away, then I'm alright. I'm saving some time. I'm being clever, Charlie. I'm being clever. So I realized I just stopped wearing my watch again. The moment I start wearing my watch again, I realized I can't really wear a watch because I do a lot of things with playing cards that need the wrist, that need this, and also it feels uncomfortable. Never been a fan of wearing a watch, you know. If you wear a watch, to the point finally, if you wear a watch, especially on your left hand, if you're a right-handed card player, then you're gonna have to take it off, or you're gonna have to move it to the side, or you're gonna have to learn how to do this without the watch. Or when it comes to spreading the deck across the back of your arm, you're gonna do a tiny little baby spread that nobody's gonna be impressed with. You're better off just taking your watch off. So it feels good teaching this. I love this. I do it so much. And I've taught it a few times in a few different places. More recently over at Illusionist. I'm going to leave a link in this video description to a few of my things that are still there that I'm really proud of over at Magic River. Magic Puddle. What's it called? Magic Stream. Of course. So I'll leave a link in this video description to that. Malice itself, it started off as a flourish, as a compartmental flourish, is that what you call it, where you take this one bit and you can mix it in with other flourishes, and the bit itself looks like this. Thumb roll, back of the arm spread, throw it up and catch it without dropping any playing cards. Just like that. And it starts like that, and you can build it into flourishes and different ideas. So I used it in this thing called Twisted Rain, which looks like this. And by the way, Twisted Rain keeps the deck in full deck order, which I think I'll teach that flourish at some point on this channel, maybe shortly close to this video, so that it's still fresh in your mind, the Malice part of it. So Malice part of it itself is just thumb roll, spread, throw, catch, and you don't drop any playing cards. Just like that, and the deck stays. Does the deck stay in order? The deck doesn't stay in order, you have to cut it, but it's beside the point for what we're doing. And I figured when I was practicing and developing this as a flourish, there are quite a few different things you can do with it, including the top card. So let's not use the 5 of hearts, let's use the 9 of clubs. So I have the 9 of clubs signed by our beloved Susan Sausage. Now if this playing card is on top, we cut it into the middle, we do the thumb roll, and now we spread and we end up with the 9 right here, right at the fingertips here. Now when you do the spread, so I know that I sped through that, so the 9 here, we cut it inside, we keep a break. Now we do the thumb roll at the break. Don't worry, I'll teach you the thumb roll. Do a thumb roll, spread it on the back of the arm. If we make sure that the 9 is spread further to the fingers, we're in a position now where we can catch this playing card out of the air, like this. You 5 of hearts getting on my nerves. So I figured out you can do that, but then more importantly, it led me to the sandwich effect, where you could have the playing cards protrude in the deck, throw them in the air, plug them out, and it became the Malice sandwich effect. So I'm going to teach you everything I know about it. There's a few different things you can do with this. This can be 4 aces on top of the deck, where you grab them from the top. I like the way that Jeremy Jeremy does it, where he does a yo and pulls the aces out. This is kind of similar, but the throw is very different, and the way you take the cards back is very different. But we're going to focus on the sandwich effect of this. So I take out the red aces. To stay in line with the previous YouTube videos, we'll keep using red aces, because the ace of heart, all the cards from this deck in fact are incredible. As always, link in the video description to these playing cards. This is the gold edition of the Miscellaneous Goods playing cards deck, and it has a red and gold box. Really lovely deck. Can't get enough of these playing cards. So let's focus on the moves to begin with. So the thumb roll is, we're gonna hold the deck in a standard dealing grip, standard kind of, I'll get you in focus, standard kind of lower dealer's grip, just here, very relaxed. We're going to take finger 1 and come in between fingers 2 and 3, right in the middle here, and we're going to lift up about halfway. Now we're going to force the top packet this way, anti-clockwise around the thumb, and when it gets to the back of the thumb around here, we're going to pull it face up like this, and it goes on the back of the thumb, and then it turns over like this. So that whole movement where it gets to here, when you pull it back over, you have to work with the inertia of it. Word of the day, we have to work with the inertia of it. We have to let it kind of fall. So when it gets here, you can't really slowly manipulate it around because it falls apart. You have to kind of get here and then just go for it, kind of fold it. So this part's going to take a lot of practice if you don't know how to do it. So here, now you can help fingers 1 and 2 can do a little scissoring just here, so that we can pull it here and then push it under here. But the slower it goes, the weirder it looks, the stranger it looks. We want it to look like a flourish, so I take advantage of the natural movements of it with the thumbs here. Now when it's on the thumb crotch here, when it's like this, the thumb is going to work its way around the deck. It's going to work its way around the packet here. So the thumb's actually working around to help you. And it's a very easy thing. Once you get the gist of it, once you think you can do it, it's very easy. Now, as a flourish, from this position where you go here and you've done the full roll, from here, you'll find that this packet is in a natural position to be pushed out with finger 1 over the top. So roll over the top, roll. So now work on the roll itself. Work on getting this roll and then this cut part. Work on this. And you will find that this part where you push the lower packet out, you find that you can go into malice. So what we're going to do is we're going to clip that bottom packet between fingers 1 and 2. So it goes from here, roll, force it out with finger 1. Now you're going to clip them with finger 2, between finger 2 and finger 1 here. And this, right, left. The left hand is going to turn down like this. So this hand, bear in mind where your right hand is, here. You're going to turn it down like this, and it turns face down onto this hand, this hand's waiting for it. So you don't really have to reposition that hand, it's already there. If you watch, it's already there, look. So it goes face down into this hand. Meanwhile, this hand is face down, and you have this flat surface waiting for the spread. So it's all kind of all just works so organically itself. If you watch this, roll, clip, face down, and from here I'm going to simply roll it over onto the back of this hand, holding it between finger 2 and the thumb on the side. Finger 1 presses down, and I spread to about here, beyond halfway up my arm. So I have this spread. From this position, you're going to learn the throw. Now we're going to throw all these in the air, and they're all going to line up in the air and then fall down into place on top of this packet, like this. Don't worry if you drop playing cards like I did. It's a very weird angle to teach because I'm much higher up than I would be. I'll stand back here and do it. So don't worry if you're going to drop. You are going to drop playing cards. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. It's all part of the practice. You need to drop them to figure out how it works. I'm confident that I've shown you enough to do with the roll, this part, face down, roll over and spread. I'm confident with that part. The teaching of this part, throwing it up and catching it, isn't going to be easy for me to teach or easy for you to learn. And I've tried a few different angles already, and I've resorted to this because I figured the angle from above, I lost a little bit of depth perception, whereas from the side, I think. So if you watch what happens with this spread packet, the top card, I'm aiming for it to be in front of my eye line here, right in front of my bolt race, and the bottom card here, I don't really want it to go anywhere. I want it to stay here. So to do that, the motion that I have to force this in, which might be strange, but I use the watch. So imagine this is the deck on the back of my hand here, on the back of my hand. When I throw it up, I want it to do this action. I want it to go up and then down. So I'm not throwing everything evenly. I'm throwing this end a lot more than this end. So like this. So notice, let me roll that again. Notice the end on the back of my hand here compared to this. So my arm is basically going straight up, allowing them to fall down. But when I get to this position where I can kind of throw them just enough so that they line up. I'm taking my hand down for the catch. So in a way, if they were on the back of my arm and I just did this, they would all just fall down, right? So I'm doing that without my arm there. I know there's probably an easier way of explaining that. If you notice the bottom card here doesn't move too much, it doesn't really go anywhere. It's the rest of the cards that are moving. So this end the cards are going up and down, this end they're just kind of tilting like this. They're not really doing anything. Now because of the ribbon spread, because they're all stuck together in a spread anyway, they're all going to fall down one another, so it can't go too wrong. You can overthrow if you throw too much. If you throw too much in that direction, you're not going to catch any of them. You want them to kind of just hit here. Beyond that point, if they go beyond, then you're going to drop a lot of playing cards. You can get them about here and the same thing's going to happen. You're still going to catch them because of the way that they're all moving. So this top card goes up, down. This card goes, it kind of just turns over like so. Now, the reason I drop playing cards at that point, I want to show you a few ways to avoid dropping playing cards when you're catching them. So we do the roll. I ideally want them all to make this sound on the back of this packet. You want them all to make that noise, because then I know from that sound that I'm not going to drop any playing cards, because I know that they're all hitting. Now when they hit, when I know they've hit, they're all going to land perfectly. They're all going to land one on top of each other. If that noise doesn't happen, then I'm more than likely gonna have overshot. Now this isn't the best thing for me to say as a teacher, but the only way you're going to learn this properly is by doing it 100 times. You got to do it over and over and over, and you will learn where those playing cards are going to come down, how you're going to catch them, what you need to do with this hand, how you're going to make it look smoothly. The tips I can give you are ones that might not seem helpful right now. If we get to the spread at this point, start right on the back of the fingernail and get about here right in front of your eye. Now you might be tempted to make this shorter to make it easier for yourself, so you might just want to spread them up here up to the watch, which isn't the best thing, because although it's drop the cards, although it's relatively easier, it doesn't look as special. It just looks like kind of lazy. It doesn't look like a spectacle as such. It just looks like you've caught a packet that was barely spread. The beauty of this is the fact that an entire ribbon spread goes in the air and you're able to catch every single playing card. That's the spectacle. So don't try and make it shorter. If you do it to this point, it will be so much easier than it would be if you make it shorter. If I did it here, I know I'm in trouble a bit, because my landing point's about here in front of my eye. That's where the landing point is. Now I have cards missing, so I find myself with the catch in hand having to fight more. Whereas if I know where they stop, if I know that they've stopped in the right position, which is here right in front of my face, this arm doesn't have to do too much traveling on its way back to catch these playing cards. It just throws, comes here, and I know they're gonna land there. I don't have to, I'll try and show you what I mean. Like, because I threw it wrong, there was a big swoop, there was a big action where I have to kind of chase for them. You want this to look graceful, and the way that you do that is having it lined up in front of your eyes. I know this from experience, from trying it so many times. It might not make sense to you learning right now, because when you're doing it, it's just going to work the same no matter what you do. But trust me, learn this from the beginning. For this card, this bottom card to be in front of your eye, the rest should fall into place. Before we move on to the actual sandwich effect, to the sandwich idea, I want to talk a little bit about playing cards, because this deck is fairly used. Like, if you look at you can tell how I kind of used it is by the fan test. There's a lot of big clunky breaks in there. So this is quite a used deck. I mean, it sticks together quite nicely. It's good for flourishing. Now, a lot of cardists will tell you that you use a used deck and it's so helpful. The packets stick together, nothing slips and slides anywhere. But this is advice from a bad cardist. I think the real true cardist can do anything that he can do with any deck in any condition, including a brand new slippery sausage deck. Same goes for anybody who uses playing cards for gambling techniques. A lot of bad gamblers will say, oh, I need a brand new deck to be able to do this one. It doesn't make sense. If as an expert, you should be able to use any kind of deck for anything. I will say though, using a deck like this for this move will be very beneficial for you, but don't limit yourself to it. Practice with a brand new deck, especially for the spread. This moment, if this is a brand new deck, the moment where you throw them up and catch them, the flow of that is going to be just beautiful. I can tell this deck is clunky and old. I know it is because it's in my hands, but you can tell it is by the way that it goes up and the way that it comes down, the sound it makes. It would be so much more graceful with a brand new deck. Don't let that put you off. In fact, anytime you practice a new cardistry move, or any move for that matter, it should always be with a new deck, because that's arguably the hardest way to execute sleight of hand. All that being said, I think I can confidently move on to the next part where we catch the summage cards. Forgive me, I do feel like I miss things out or I don't give enough information. So if I ever do that, please let me know in the comment section and I'll catch up with you down there. So, and I said at the beginning of this video, this is more of a revelation than a trick, because I'm not really teaching you how to get the 9 in front of the aces in a revolutionary way. I'm honestly and openly saying, do that yourself. Do it on your own. Find your own way of doing that. I'm not going to leave you with that, of course. I'm going to show you the easiest way possible, because in my mind, no matter how many hundreds of different techniques there are for getting a playing card in between two aces, preparing for the revelation, the spectator, the audience, the participant doesn't care. They don't see that part. They're not aware of that part. So why would it matter which method you use? By any means upcomque, by any means necessary. By any means necessary. It doesn't matter how fancy your sleight of hand technique is to make that happen if nobody's going to see it anyway. I might have opened an argument there, but it doesn't matter is all I'm saying. So control the selected card, control the 9 of clubs to the top of the deck, put the aces on top, pick 3 cards opposing them as 2, hiding the 9 of clubs behind them, cut the top ace underneath so now the 9's in the middle, and then put the cards inside ready for the reveal. You know, the sandwich effect, the way that I love to do the sandwich effect, I love it, but it's hindered with this trick. This trick spoils it. The way that I love to do it, and a lot of you watching already know what's coming up, Gambler's Cop. Gambler's Cop. Look, your sign playing card, losing the deck. Hold these 2 red aces. Susan holds the red aces. I shuffle a card inside. I steal the card. I say, Susan, shuffle away. Give me those aces. She gives me the aces. I load the copped card inside, and I'm good to go. So once you're loaded and in this position, it's all about the revelation. Now you can do the standard old classic thing of, ooh, you know, waving it or doing it however you want. For me, I don't venture away from that. I love the idea of being able to show 2 aces with nothing between them very carefully, very freely, waving it over the top, and a card randomly, strangely appears in between. It doesn't make a difference to revelation how dramatic that moment is, as long as they see the card appear and as long as they were confident that there was nothing between them. Now the fact that they hold the aces while I was shuffling proves that they know there were only 2 playing cards there. Right up until the point where I did the move, there were only 2 playing cards there, because I don't load it right until that last point where I know that they're confident there's only 2 playing cards. So they can see 2 playing cards, shuffle, hold the deck in your hand, hold it like this flat in your hand. Right, I'm going to wave the aces over the front, over the top, and you load at that last minute to ensure that you can go a long way with just 2 playing cards before this gets loaded. I'm off on a tangent. Come back, Madison. So the reason this is hindered at this point, I could do all of that, load the 9 of clubs into the middle of the aces, and then take the aces, put them in the middle, and then execute Malice. I could do it like that. The problem with that is right here. The way that the red aces go into the deck, why and how could a 9 have gotten lined up with the aces? Surely it would be like this. Now, if that doesn't make sense to you, please pay close attention. So the playing cards themselves, the deck is all straight, completely straight. I put the aces in protruding together like so. They are protruding, right? Now, the way the deck's lined up, when these aces are removed from the deck, the 9 has to have lined up with the deck and not the aces. What I mean by that is this. So in this position, if I pull the aces out, hold on, I'm trying to do this right. If I pull the aces out now, the ace would look like this, because that is the position in which they were in the deck, protruding the deck. Now, this is important, so please don't ignore this. This is important. The aces were placed in the middle with nothing between them in the deck like this. So when you remove them, no matter how you do it, the 9 has to be here. It has to have lined up with the deck. If it's inside the aces all the way, then how did that happen? It must have happened before he put the aces in the deck. And it leads the audience, the participant, to the method. So if it is in the middle like this, and you put the aces in like this, and there's nothing in between them yet as far as Susan knows, then how the hell did it get all the way up in between the aces? Now you could argue, that's magic, that is magic. It appeared there by magic, but this isn't magic. This is a demonstration of skill. So this will give everything away. If you don't believe me, then go. No, if you don't believe me, then try it. You need more experience. You need to try this. No, you don't. That's bad. That's bad, Madison. Bad, Madison. If you don't believe me, it's because experience. I'm telling you from experience, and I'm telling you from logic. I always imagine that whenever I'm doing a trick, whenever I'm doing a sleight, any move, I imagine that I'm doing that move for me. I imagine that I'm watching myself doing it. And I'm a hard audience member, I'm a tough participant. I'll call you out. I'll be like, yeah, see it in the middle. I won't let you off. And that way of thinking, if it couldn't get past me, then I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to perform it, because I have to assume that my audience, they're intelligent and they're going to call me out. I have to assume it. And even the ones that don't call me out, if they see through something and they decide in their mind, I can see what he's doing, but I'm not going to embarrass him. I'll just give him golf claps at the end and then go home. That's terrible. That's really bad, because that's your reputation, and that's terrible to happen. And you need to be aware that that happens. If you're going to show people bad magic, so many people out there are too kind-hearted to break your heart. They're too kind-hearted to hurt you. So when you show them a terrible magic trick and they go, they're going to go home and they go, what a loser. That you've got to have an open mind. You've got to be brutal. You have to be your own worst audience member. And I would call the hell out of that. If this came out like this, I would say, you liar. I would call them out. Off on a tangent. So that's why it's important. So that's why the whole gambler's cop into the aces is compromised, because by the time I've loaded it, to get these in the middle like this now, it wouldn't work. So my solution to that, tell me in the comment section if you've got a better solution for this as well. Retain the 9 on top, keep it on top. I put the aces on top of the deck like this. I push the top ace over here like so. So it's kind of pushed toward the deck and down. Now at the back of this, the back ace, I get a break under the top card, so there's a gap. The back ace goes into, let me get you in focus. So the 9's here, I have a break so you can get into it. Only on 1 card, Madison, not 2. I hold the aces like this and I push the top card over. This allows me to undercover do this. I slip the bottom ace underneath the 9. Then on top of the deck, I line them up like this, so that the top ace is protruding like this, and this ace of hearts is on top of the 9. So now I've got the ace of diamonds behind the 9 of clubs without you knowing. It looks like I just put them on top. And now I'm in this position. As soon as I've done that, I can lift this up freely and move it to the side. This is all quite complicated, all quite convoluted, when you could just do this. Solution number 2. Take both aces, put them on top of the deck, pick all 3 cards up so you have the 9 underneath, peel the ace of diamonds off on the top, and then put the other 2 here. So we're in the same situation, and this is a situation you need to be in. The 9 here, ace of diamonds behind it, up at the top, ace of hearts here. Because now, this is in position. Now when I push the top card up to match the ace of diamonds, the 9 is trapped in a position where it's going to come away from the deck the way that the aces went in, the right way. Back in focus. So now in this position, it looks like I've put 2 aces on top of the deck, and then I cut them inside. Careful when you cut, because them cards are protruding on the top. Cut the bottom packet onto the top, and when you cut the bottom packet onto the top, you need a few more cards than half. So you need to make sure that those aces are protruding the lower half of the deck, because that's the packet that's going to travel, that's going to move around, so that it ends up rolling on the back of your arm. It needs to be in the bottom half of the packet. This is brutal. So now we're in this position. Now the important part, we're going to hold it as standard with the aces out, like so. We're going to roll the top half, leaving the aces on the bottom, so the top half rolls. Get to this position, watch the aces pop away like this. So now they extend. Turn it over so the aces come towards me. Roll it over the back, onto the back of the hand like this. And you can see it's going to fall off, but I'm going to hold it. You can see the aces protruding, pointing upwards. So I know where they are. They're in a position where I can now catch them, but I've messed the deck up, so I'm going to put it down. So let's get from that position again. So from the top, I cut them below into the bottom half, and we'll start from here. Once this packet, once the ace, protruding aces gets on the back of my hand here, they're protruding just here, I'm going to catch them like this. So the back of my hand is going to be facing the audience. I'm going to come in sideways and catch them right about in front of my face. Now, this compromises the way that I throw this entire spread. It changes things, because I have to go from here, here, over here. It's got to be pointing kind of away from me, diagonally away, so that I can catch these easier. If I throw it here, I'm going to be catching it at a very strange angle. So I move this out so that I can catch it here in front of my eyes like this. And now see how the 9 is in uniform with the deck. So now everything makes sense. I know this is a long video and I'm very conscious of it. I can feel the weight of it on my back, because I know so many people don't like watching longer videos. I get a lot of complaints about longer videos, but I don't mind those people who think that. I don't mind you leaving. You know where the door is, don't come back. I don't mind that. I'm not here for subscribers. I'm not here on the road to 1 million. You know, I'm not. I appreciate that. I do. It's a bonus part of the job, a part of what I do. But I'm not here for that. I'm here for serious students. I usually save lessons this big for the Malayans over at Madison.ist. Very often though on YouTube, the things I teach require this amount of information, because if I didn't tell you everything I knew about what I'm teaching you, then shame on me, because I would be a terrible teacher. So it's imperative that I don't leave anything out, and you can always be sure with me, no stones unturned. I'll share everything with you, and it's on my mind a lot in my videos, in these moments where I'm stood in front of this camera, always thinking, have I missed anything? Have I missed anything? So now that I've gone over the catch to this part where you're going to catch it here, we need to address the important thing, which is, how are you going to do that? How are you going to throw them up and marry that moment where the cards fall, you catch them, and you gracefully pluck the 9 out of the air? How is that going to work? When you're practicing it right now, watching this, you'll realize how difficult it is, and you'll think, holy swear word, I can't do this, or I'm not gonna do this, nah, forget this one, it's too hard for me. It's not, it's really not. As long as you master the catch, and when I say the catch, as long as you master this moment, as long as you can master that, then you can do the rest. Because what you'll find, what I've come to find with practice and time, that this moment here, the roll and throwing in the catch, I've done it so many times that it is second nature. It happens on its own now. I know for a fact that this card is going to land here and these are going to fall down on top of it, because I've designed it this way. I've done it 100 times, 1,000 times, a million times, and I know, because I'm going to do it right, I know how it works, I know it's going to land here, so I don't have to think about this. I don't have to think about it. I take that energy from my mind, my thoughts, and put it all on the protruding aces, because I don't want to be distracted by these fallen playing cards. I want to be distracted by catching the aces with a 9 between them. I want to focus on this moment. Now, a beautiful note, at that moment when you catch them, if you drop the rest of the playing cards, it looks wonderful, I think. So allow them to fall, because it leaves you with this, and it forces all the attention here, because you don't need the deck anymore, because look what just happened. Now all the attention's here, you can carefully spread and show that you caught their card between the aces. So dropping them, I wouldn't advise it. I mean, if you don't drop them, obviously you don't have to, but maybe if you fail to catch them or some bounce off, just throw the rest to the ground, and so that all the focus can be put on this point. That is a performance piece of advice, because as a performance, if you drop a few and you keep hold of the rest, it looks like it went wrong, looks like an accident. Whereas if you throw the rest down, then it's your performance decision to bring all attention over here, rather than on a few playing cards that fell down. Now, there's more. So when you get to that spread on the back of your arm, there's going to be a moment that you need to look out for, that you can't always control. Certainly at this point, before you spread, squeeze the deck together in the deck count. Squeeze it, force all the air out of it. This will help. Then do the roll, then spread. At this moment here, all I'm looking at is these two cards and the 9 of clubs, because I'm spreading this face up. So I'm showing you, I'm displaying all those playing cards. I'm displaying them to you. So I can now see the 9 of clubs, and I can see it in between the aces. Now, again, I have to assume that I'm watching this, that I'm my own participant, I'm my own audience, and I'm going to see that. So there are quite a few things you can do. You don't have to run without being chased. You don't have to hide it, but notice what level this is at already. It's quite high. So you're kind of looking more onto it than down on it. But at the same time, I don't hold this for a long time. I've held it now for about 2 minutes, but I don't hold it for a long time. I spread, let them soak that moment in for 1 second. 1 second doesn't sound long, but, or maybe up to 2 seconds doesn't sound long, but it really is when you're performing. As soon as I'm aware that this image has been seen, I certainly don't want to rush. I don't want to do this. This is bad, in my opinion, if you do this. That's bad. You lose control, as you can see. It looks like you're rushing, looks like you're hiding something. More importantly, in backtracking and thinking and remembering the trick, you can't always tell what happened. Whereas if you slow down at that point, which is what I like to do, just for a moment, just as soon as they've seen it. So I'll go here, make sure they've seen it, and then throw and catch the 9. Again, drop the card, but don't care, because I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty neat when you drop the cards, actually. So that moment when you spread, also when you spread, if you don't see the 9, if the 9 didn't spread properly and you can see it hidden in them, then by all means take a bit longer. You can afford to take time. Ideally, you want people to see those playing cards protruding. You want them to see the situation. Now, I used to do this as a bit of a flourish, a bit of a kind of a trick thing. So these would start on top like this, towards me, so the 9's in between them, and then I'd do a thumb roll to get them inside, and then I'd do another thumb roll to get into the trick. That's how I used to do this. I don't like the idea of there being 2 thumb roll moments, because the moment you do the second thumb roll, it looks like that the first thumb roll could have been the method. That could have been where you loaded the playing card. It's kind of unnecessary. I think there's something really nice about keeping it natural and keeping it somewhat normal by just cutting those playing cards inside, because you're making a non-moment out of one of the biggest moments in the trick. I'm scratching my new tattoo. It keeps itching me. So you're making a non-moment out of that that important moment. I'm a believer. I think I might have shared everything with you. I might have exhausted this. I'm sure I'll think of something later on. If I missed anything, tell me in the comment section. Figure out how to do it with the aces on your own on top. I'll leave that with you because this is taking way too long. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Daniel Madison. Let's go to that. That was Malice. I hope that you enjoyed it. I always leave information in the video description as to where you can get the playing cards I use in my videos. In the description, you'll also find an address. My tattoo studio, Electric Picture House Tattoos. If you want your playing cards to feature on my channel, send me 2 decks to the tattoo studio. One deck that I can use, another deck that I can potentially give away on this channel. I'm going to start doing more deck giveaways soon. Stay tuned for that. I'll be back soon with some more dope tutorials. Make sure that you subscribe so that you get my notification bell going ding 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 every time I drop a new tutorial. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I'm Daniel Madison. This was Malice. See you in the comment section.